All right, welcome back to another After Dark, everyone. Hope you all had a good day, and I hope you're having a good night so far. I had a request, and this is something I planned on doing anyways. You know, we did those making the case for the GOAT with LeBron. We did MJ, and we also did Tim Duncan. Well, I had a request to react to the Larry Bird one. So this is from Clayton Crowley, and this is making the case for Larry Bird. Larry Bird's a dude on my top 5, and it's gonna take a lot to ever remove him from my top 5. So no, I don't have him as the GOAT, but I believe this is a video that needs to be done because a lot of people do believe he's the GOAT, and I have nothing but respect for people who feel that way because Larry Bird, man, yeah, I get it. For me, MJ surpassed him, but before that, I did have Larry Bird as the GOAT before MJ came around and won 6 rings and did everything he did. Anyways, as always, I'm going to leave the original link down below in the description. So if you want to watch this video without my commentary, please feel free. Clayton Crowley has a ton of great videos, so I highly suggest you go over there, give them a subscribe, and check out the content. It's really good stuff. But everybody else, please leave a like to this video. As always, you know, it helps out a ton. And without further ado, let's watch Clayton make a case for Larry Bird being the GOAT. Let's do this.
Basketball is special. The size of the court and the lack of pads or helmets give fans the most intimate experience of a team sport that exists. And because of the different styles that basketball allows for, players develop their own distinct identities and signature styles through their creativity, flair, and athleticism. And although no player succeeds alone, the scoring volume and two-way nature of the sport give individual stars a nearly unprecedented amount of control over the flow and outcome of a game. For this reason, players are constantly compared to their peers and to the legends of the past in order to answer the most hotly contested question in the sport: who's the greatest to ever do it? For many, the question is redundant. They believe in only one right answer, their answer. Others might have their own personal stance, but acknowledge one or two alternatives. But I believe that there's much more nuance to the question of greatness and more answers to it than you might think. By my count, there are 8 players in NBA history that have a substantial claim as the GOAT. It's a subjective thing though. I can't give you a definitive answer.
I hope he updates this, by the way, someday. I would like him to make a new case for some of the guys who are still playing, and you know, maybe add to it.
All I can do is make the argument. So today, I'll be making the case for Larry Bird as the greatest basketball player of all time.
Larry Legend, let's do it.
When it comes to basketball, Larry Bird is the smartest, clutchest player to ever play the game. Now, if you don't think that Larry Bird is the greatest basketball player of all time, you probably hate that I just said that. Those are the kind of talking head sport cliches that surely impact the game but are impossible to empirically measure. Normally, I'd agree with you, but I think that when you talk about Larry Bird, you see those intangibles become real, palpable results. I wouldn't have said it if I didn't believe it. When Larry Bird was drafted by the Boston Celtics in 1978, the NBA needed saving. Attendance was in the toilet, the league had few marketable stars, cocaine addiction had several players in its grasp, and most damning of all, playoff games were being tape delayed. Playoff games at the highest level of basketball were being put in the back seat for black and white movies and network reruns. But rather than join the Celtics after being taken 3rd overall, Larry Bird decided to return for his final year at Indiana State, a decision that would prove to be one of the most important in the history of the sport. Bird's final year saw the Sycamores tear through college basketball, going 33-0 before the national championship game.
Insane.
Bird, already claimed by the NBA's most historic and prestigious franchise, had established himself as the generational talent who would inherit the mantle of pro basketball.
I believe the Celtics drafted him, and then Bird said he wanted to play one more year in college. So it was like they used their draft pick to get Larry just to secure that. Because that's how much they liked. That's how much Red liked Larry, which is crazy. You don't see that often. We see that sometimes with international players. Tony Kukoc comes to mind, for instance. But with American players going to college, that's a rarity. You're using your pick for somebody you don't even get access to for an entire year later.
Indiana State's opponent in the national championship was Michigan State, captained by the immortal Irvin Magic Johnson.
Yep.
The Sycamores lost the championship to the more talented Spartans in the highest rated game in the history of basketball at any level still to this day.
Insane.
The stage had been set. The next decade of basketball would be defined by the rivalry between the white hick from French Lick and his Boston Celtics and the black Magic and his Showtime Lakers. The rivalry between Bird and Johnson is entwined into the fabric of the NBA and is worthy of 100 documentaries. In this video, though, we're going to be looking at Bird's claim of supremacy. Here's Bird's basketball resume. His 3 championships come with perhaps the highest collective degree of difficulty of any player's championship.
Wait, I'm embarrassed I don't know this. Who won the other MVP, the finals MVP? Because Bird won 2 finals MVPs, but 3 championships. Who took home that other one?
His 3 MVPs came consecutively, making him only the 3rd player to accomplish the feat, along with Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain. His 2 finals MVPs are misleading. He was absolutely the best player on the '81 Celtics, but he was only a sophomore, and his 15 points per game in the finals gave the media an excuse to exact a little vengeance on a legendarily difficult interview. His all-star and first team
so he was kind of cheated out of that one. Okay.
Selections also come with the caveat that Bird only played for 13 seasons and missed all but 6 games of the '89 season following surgeries on both feet. I can hear you already. A 13-year career, and this guy is supposed to be the GOAT? What color of paint are you huffing, Clayton?
Well, it's not about longevity. It's about how much you accomplished while you were there, how dominant you were while you were there. And he was pretty damn dominant while he was playing for that short period of time.
Green, obviously. But hear me out. Yeah, Bird's
Smoking
career
shamrocks.
lasted about 2/3 as long as it should have. But what he did in that time was so impressive and so substantial that every basketball fan acknowledges that he's in the conversation as the greatest ever. Doesn't it matter that those 13 years saved professional basketball, delivered a disproportionate amount of memorable moments, defined the golden age of the league, and produced a career by which all other forwards, before or since, are measured? Bird squeezed plus Larry Bird season look like? A full box score, a blowout win, a nearly undefeated record at home, and a play style that could only be described one way: white. Larry Bird isn't just a white basketball player, he's the white basketball player.
That's one way to put it. He's the white basketball player. He was. That was what was so special about Magic versus Larry, was that contrast as well. And their play styles were so opposite of each other. But it kind of did define for us. I grew up in the 80s. So for us, it was like, that's how you play if you look like that. Well, that's how you play if you look like that. Like we had a model to look at. And unfortunate for me, I didn't have anybody who looked like me playing basketball. So I took a little bit from both, which is cool.
To describe Larry Bird's game is to thumb through the Hoops dictionary and pick out every cliche about white players. Unathletic, great shooter, good fundamentals, the whole thing. The archetype of a white basketball player is Larry Bird, with one exception: elite player. Jerry West called him nearly as perfect as you can get. He was the league's first great marksman. He could contort his body to shoot from anywhere on the court, regardless of the level of defense. He pioneered the art of the dagger 3 and was the founding member of the 50-40-90 club. At 6'9", Bird's understanding of angles and coordination led to a higher rebounding average than Patrick Ewing, and it made him an impressively adept finisher in his younger years. In '86, Bird dropped 47 points on the Blazers, playing the majority of the game left-handed.
Yeah.
His lack of quick lateral movement meant that Bird didn't do much when it came to slapping the floor and picking up the opposing point guard, but his size and omniscience gave him the ability to body similarly sized players, read defenses like a free safety, and pick off passing lanes with ease.
100%. Yeah, he doesn't get enough credit as a defender. He also doesn't get enough credit as a passer or a rebounder.
Passing was transcendent, and I'll highlight it later. And of course you need to know that Larry Bird was a tough MFer. He had a superhuman motor and dove for loose balls like a beagle at the park.
Ouch.
He was a willing participant in his share of fights, often precipitated by his league-renowned trash talk.
Larry Bird told Robert Reed he ought to stay there. He should have stayed in preaching. That was funny. He had 50 points. I was guarding him my rookie year. He looked at me and he goes, "You can't stop me." And I looked at him and I said, "Gosh, boy, you're so confident." He proceeded to score like 10 straight points on me. The coach took me out the game. He walks by and he's laughing at me.
He's a basketball genius. He'd be a step ahead, a thought ahead. Play the game like a chess game.
I'd much rather guard Michael Jordan than Larry Bird because you have to play the game as a thinker when you're playing him. You have to get inside his mind.
If you put all of us in a room, Magic, Jordan, myself, and Bird probably be the guy who walks out of the room at the end of the day.
Did you notice something during those testimonies? Those are some of the best basketball players of all time. And
I'll say one thing, you get all those guys in a gym, in a basketball court, and you play a game of horse, I think Larry's coming out on top on that one.
all sing Bird's praises like they were former assassins who had to go toe-to-toe with John Wick, and they're just happy to be alive. Bird excelled during one of the most talent-rich periods in league history. The abridged list of his basketball rivals goes like this: Dr. J and Moses Malone on the Philadelphia 76ers, Sidney Moncrief on the Milwaukee Bucks, Isaiah Thomas, Bill Laimbeer and the Bad Boy Pistons, Dominique Wilkins on the Atlanta Hawks, Bernard King on the New York Knicks, Michael Jordan on the Chicago Bulls, Hakeem Olajuwon and Ralph Sampson on the Houston Rockets, and of course, Magic Johnson, James Worthy, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar on the Los Angeles Lakers.
Something bothered me. I gotta ask a question. When you think of the Bad Boy Pistons, who do you think of? Because I think of Isaiah Thomas and Joe Dumars. But he just listed Isaiah Thomas and Bill Laimbeer. It's weird to me. Joe D was the guy.
All right, there's no point avoiding it any longer. We have to look at Magic versus Larry. If you have Magic over Larry, it's because he has 5 rings to Larry's 3, had a peak that lasted about 2 or 3 years longer than Larry's, and had a 2-1 record against Bird's Celtics in the finals. Perfectly legitimate, completely respectable arguments. But in the interest of making Bird's case, allow me to retort. For nearly the entire decade of the 1980s, the Eastern Conference was irrefutably the more competitive conference between the two. Considering the competition, for Bird to have made 5 finals appearances is just as impressive as Magic's 9. As for the head-to-head record responsible for Magic's 2 extra titles, he had more help. Seriously, the Celtics' Big 3 and the Lakers' Big 3 get compared all the time historically as if they were of equal caliber, but weren't Magic's accomplices just a step above Bird's?
To be fair, though, Bird didn't just play for a Big 3, he played for like a Big 6. Not as star-studded by no means as what Magic had. But he played for such a solid team with McHale, Parrish. Hell, he had Bill Walton for a while there. DJ, like he had great player. I guess it's because of the star level of what was in the Lakers. I would say it's an even match when it comes to that. Magic did accomplish more, but see, this is why it's hard for me. When it comes to my top 10, and actually they're both in my top 5, I kind of go MJ, Kobe, and then 3 is kind of divided into 2 between Magic and Bird. I can't put one ahead of the other. I keep trying, but I can't do it. So they take up 3 and 4, and then we move on from there.
No disrespect at all to Kevin McHale and Robert Parrish, but Kareem was the alpha dog on the 71 Bucks and was the best player for at least 2 of the Lakers' 5 titles.
Yeah.
James Worthy was the number 1 pick out of UNC after winning a championship as the best player on a team that had Michael Jordan on it. Throw in the fact that Magic got to be coached by Pat Riley, one of the most brilliant minds in basketball history, and you could say that the Magic-Bird argument comes down to one thing: luck. So if their careers come down to luck, the question just becomes who you would rather take. Now, I'm not making this video to tell you why you shouldn't take Magic. I'm making this video to tell you why you should take Bird.
Yeah.
Not just over Magic, but over everybody. One thing that helps him is the fact that his play would translate perfectly into the league today. A 6'9" sharpshooting forward with eyes in the back of his head who averaged double-digit rebounds in an era against Moses and Lambeer.
Look at this guy.
He'd gobble up boards as a power forward. He'd be an offensive mismatch against everybody as a small ball center, and his off-ball skills and passing would pair perfectly with the flow of today's game. Add in his competitive mania and 3 generations worth of medical advancements, and we're talking about a player who could have stuck around so long they would have had to rename the league. As you've been watching these clips of Bird, I would hope that you would notice something. He always knows where everybody is. Watching Bird play basketball is like watching those monsters from A Quiet Place that know where you are if you make any noise at all. Bird had a level of clairvoyance that bordered on the unnatural. In '85, he ended up 1 steal away from a quadruple-double after playing just the first 3 quarters. His passing was famously infectious and helped transform the Celtics of the '80s into an ideal that basketball teams at all levels are still shown tape of. They moved the ball with precision and intent, always looking for better shots and determined to get the entire team involved in the effort. That fact is almost entirely attributable to Bird and his wizardry with the ball. This acumen also helped Bird become the only player with a GOAT claim to transition successfully into other basketball roles after his playing career.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know he was a hell of a coach. Actually, Indiana was having the most success they've ever had while he was coaching.
His 3 years as the head coach of the Pacers, Bird won a Coach of the Year award, coached the Pacers to their first and only finals appearance, and gave Michael Jordan as much trouble as he'd ever gotten in his career in the '98 Eastern Conference Finals.
Yep.
After moving into a front
went
office role for Indiana, he won Executive of the Year in 2012, becoming the only person to have an MVP, Coach of the Year, and Executive of the Year award. On the court or off of it, inside and out, Larry Bird sees basketball as only he can.
Yep.
That intelligence also lent itself to Bird's defining skill, making the big plays. Remember, NBA players get paid to win games.
Yeah, he's the definition of clutch. He set the standard of clutch that I have everybody else live by. Jordan matched it. Jordan did it. Not a lot of people have done it. Not a lot of people can do it. And yeah, I'm just going to leave it at that. It's very rare. It's very rare. But Bird was that dude. He set the tone.
James Harden is getting paid nearly $40 million this year because he's supposed to help the Rockets win games. Victory can be achieved in a lot of ways, and the win column doesn't care how it happens. As Mark Sinclair once said,
"It don't matter if you win by an inch or a mile. Winning's winning."
Yep.
But when your team is down 1 in a crucial playoff game with 8 seconds left, and you need to hit a shot to stay in the series and keep your season alive, that's where players really separate themselves and earn their money. Love it or hate it, it's the players that come through in the big moments that live forever in our memories. Some players, for whatever reason, were never able to do it consistently.
No, most.
Some players were truly outstanding at it. Larry Bird was the best at it.
Yeah, it's special when it's a guy like Bird or like Jordan or like Kobe or now like Steph, because you're the man the entire game. You're the guy. You're the guy producing the most. And then at the end, you still freaking do it. Now, there are some people that have that clutch gene, but they're just not that dude, you know? They're not that dude who's producing the whole game, but they still have the clutch gene, which is interesting to me. But I always look for that full package. Like, you're not just dominant the first 3 quarters, the fourth quarter. You're gonna step it up even an extra notch. That was Bird. That was MJ. You know, like all these guys are listed. Hell, Reggie Miller is on that list too.
I'm not going to give you the stats about his field goal shooting under 2 minutes with a score that's this close, or tell you who has the most buzzer beaters.
Yeah, no, just watch the games. Like, if you know, you know. Like, he was doing it on a regular basis. He's consistent with it. Screw the stats.
Or any of that.
Take that for data.
I'm just going to show you.
What?
Who has the most buzzer beaters or any of that.
Take that for data.
I'm just going to show you. Clutch moments in clutch situations. 1985 against the Blazers. Bird drops 48 points, including this. Down 1 with 2 seconds left.
Inbound pass, the double team and Bird. Larry, fake.
Double team in the corner. Nowhere to go. Bang.
1985 against the Hawks. Bird sets the Celtics scoring record with 60 points with shots like these.
They open the right side. Bird the follow away. He drills it again. That's shooting I've ever seen.
1986 against the Rockets. Not all of Bird's clutch moments were singular. The bigger the moment, the bigger his performance. In Game 6 of the 1986 NBA Finals, Bird clinches the championship with a triple-double in what he calls the best game he ever played.
Oh my God. He's just walked himself to a spot.
1987 against the Washington Bullets. Bird hits one shot to tie it before it's waved off because of a timeout. Hits another shot to tie it up for real.
Crowd is standing up. It goes now to Bird. Bird goes up top.
And then in double overtime, down one, he does this.
It's going to go to Bird. He's got a shot. Get it.
Larry Bird.
It's all over.
For 3 years, from 1986 to 1988, the three-point contest knew no other champion but Larry Bird.
Think about that. A freaking forward. A forward going out there out shooting all these guards with his warm-up jacket on, no less.
He's still got to drop one here quickly. 14. This is a tie for the
Money ball for 17.
1987
Larry Bird.
Eastern Conference Finals, Game 5. Tied at 2 games apiece against the Bad Boy Pistons, this enormous game would put the winner 1 game away from the NBA Finals.
Oh, is this a steal by Bird?
The Pistons are up 1 with seconds remaining. The ball goes out of bounds off the Celtics.
Yep.
Isaiah Thomas just needs to inbound the ball to win the game.
Steal by Bird. Bird, DJ lays it in.
There are truly too many big games and
it.
big moments for me to go through without this ending up as a documentary. But that all leads me to this, what I really want to talk about. 1987, NBA Finals, Game 4 against the Lakers. LA is up 2-1, and the Celtics need to win to tie the series and stay alive. Bird hits a 3 with 12 seconds left to go up by 2.
Look at this trap defense, you guys. I'm sorry. I just want to rewatch this again. Just focus on the defense.
Game 4 against the Lakers. LA is up 2-1, and the Celtics need to win to tie the series and stay alive.
Trap.
Bird hits a 3 with 12 seconds left to go up by 2.
Bird goes for 3.
Oh. What a shot. Here's Bill Walton.
Kareem comes down and gets fouled with 8 seconds left. He makes the first, but misses the second. LA ends up with the ball with 7 seconds left, down 1 point.
In the low post, being guarded by Dennis Johnson. Byron Scott is in the ball game now.
5.
Magic hits
4.
this. The baby
Oh,
sky.
yeah.
With a hook shot, scores with 2.
2 seconds left, down 1.
Dennis Johnson on
Yeah,
the
you know he's getting the ball.
Bird fires it.
What do you think happens? I bet it wasn't that. When I paused the tape and the ball was hanging in the air, you thought it was going in. Bird thought it was going in. Magic thought it was going in. I've seen this game before, and I still think it's going to go in. But it didn't. Pat Riley said it himself. We got lucky.
Yeah.
And that, a missed shot in the NBA Finals is why he's the clutchest. Because after he makes the big plays, has the big games, hits the big shots, time and time again, you expect him to hit every shot, to win every game.
You know, same thing happened, what was it, Game 6, Bulls versus Pacers, which ironically, Larry Bird was coaching. And Jordan got a last-second shot to clinch the series. Same thing. He had a 3. It was not a very good look, but it looked like it was dropping in. We all thought it was going to drop in. Everybody did. And everybody commented about it. Everyone talked about it and laughed about it. Even Jordan did. He was like, it was kind of cute. Everybody held their breath for a second there in time. And it just didn't fall. You know, but there's only a few people like that where you get a ridiculous shot at the end of a game like that, and you're like, 90% that's going in. You know, that's what you're thinking to yourself. Like, this is going to happen. And yeah, same thing with that shot by Bird, man. You think it's going to go in because it always goes in for him.
And in those fleeting moments when he doesn't, when he looks like a mere human, when he looks like everyone else who tries to do what he does, you just can't believe it. That's what Larry Bird did. He made the big plays so often you thought he was going to make them every time. He helped turn basketball into a global phenomenon. paving the way for every Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, or LeBron James who comes through our lives. He played basketball in its purest form and captained a team that is consistently ranked among the greatest of all time. He has the second highest win percentage in the history of the NBA, behind Magic by less than 0.5%, about 10 games. He was the complete package, a player with no holes in his game whatsoever. They called him Basketball Jesus. He didn't get that name without doing something extraordinary. He saved basketball. And he did it by playing it better than anyone else. Here's Magic at Bird's retirement in 1993.
Larry
Oh, they
Bird
retired together. I remember this was such a cool thing.
said that there would be another Larry Bird one day. And Larry, there will never, ever, ever be another Larry Bird. To the greatest basketball player ever, but more important, a friend forever.
Wow. Good way to end it.
Hey everybody, thank you so much for watching. This was a really fun video to make, and I'm going to continue to make more of them, so please feel free to subscribe. And while you're at it, go ahead and check out my website, ballsandsuch.com, where I post things about, like, if the solar system was a basketball team, could Uranus hit a jump shot? You know, really important stuff.
Okay, balls and stuff. Yay, that was a great video. That was a great video. To just... you know, he's doing the whole like court thing, making the case. The only thing I want to say is it was him and Magic saved basketball. They saved the game of basketball from 1978 on, and then Jordan started taking the torch starting in '84 and brought it to like new heights. But if it was not for Larry Bird and Magic Johnson, I don't know if there would have been an NBA. You know, I don't know how successful it would have been for a guy like Jordan to come in and blow the roof off the rafters. But yeah, Larry Bird, he's just one of those dudes. I cannot think of one negative thing to say about him. And there will never be another Larry Bird, like Magic says, because there's no way in hell anybody in a modern game is going to work that hard. Put their body through hell the way Larry did, dive for these balls, you know, get body slammed by players and choked out and punched and still just get up and keep playing. He played with a migraine. I'm sorry, not a migraine. He played with a concussion. He played through injuries. That's one of the things that it goes beyond statistics. It goes beyond accolades. Larry Bird, if you watched him play, you watched his career, you saw the toughest motherfucker you could ever imagine play the game of basketball. And that's why everybody who watched him play, we all have him at least in our top 10. Like, he is not to be disrespected. He is not to be ridiculed. Like, we don't tolerate that shit. It's not okay. You know, that dude deserves nothing but respect from the NBA, from the basketball community. And I've never said a bad thing about him. I never will. It's not going to happen. All right, everybody, I'm out. Where do you guys have Bird on your GOAT list, your top 10 list? For me, best small forward of all time. And then after that, I've got him tied number 3 with Magic. But yeah, let me know what you guys have. I appreciate you all watching this with me. Thanks for the request to watch this. It was already on my list, but I just pushed it up the list because of that request. So I do hear you. I do read your comments, everybody. I try to respond to as many as I possibly can. But at the very least, I assure you I'm reading them. All right, everybody, I'm out. Please leave this video a like if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel if you want more content like this. If you do, I'll see you tomorrow morning for the next one. And yeah, I appreciate you all. Have a wonderful night. Have a peaceful night. Have some fun. And go out and be good to your loved ones, okay? Let them know you love them. All right, I'm out of here. Good night, everyone. Peace out.